Again, welcome back to a Learning League episode 29. More items equals more buttons. Again, L3 IRD for getting this awards with you all again. And thank you for supporting out to the D-eSports stuff that we are doing here at Definitive Esports. Do check us out yet again, d-esports.com, or check out these little sponsors below, which are actually really big sponsors in our hearts. X and G, Treton, Antec, BenQ, and MadCats. They're actually really big sponsors. They give lots of money to a lot of people. You know, they give lots of good stuff and quality stuff as well. So check them out if you can. Anywho, we are going back to the part of the episode where we're actually going to be learning about something, I guess, different per se, if you want to keep it going like that. The awesomeness of Nami. Nami, again, we didn't really talk about about her last episode, just because, again, she wasn't really seen too much for me because I only probably played like 15 games per se of PvE back then. But I got kind of stacked into PvE, watching a lot of Nami play, watching a lot of gameplay of her. So I'm gonna go test out my skills. Nami, the type color. If you guys want to go check out the wiki page, pretty much the updated stats onto her. Just posted that in the chat room. I'll put it in the VOD just in case. Is a really, really awesome support caster. Again, people are going to be playing our AP because they do have quite a bit of damage per se. 50%, 6.5 AP, 0.2 on the AP of E, and tidal wave of 0.7. Awesome. Oh, actually, they balanced out her AP ratio, so that's actually really good. So, yeah, she's a support. Don't play her any otherwise, truthfully, because I feel like people will try to play her as AP mid, and they're not going to do too well with it, but once the professionals do it, then everybody's going to be like, oh, now this is how you play Nami. Well, she's a support in my heart. She's a really good utilizer of her skills, ability Surgeon Tide. Surgeon Tide, I didn't even actually know this, but when your ability actually hits a champion, they get a magical speed buff boost, which actually makes sense because when you use not Ebb and Flow, the W ability, but Tide Collar Blessing, that's a really good tack on to have that extra speed boost when you're actually going to give that Tide Collar's Blessing to actually try to get that slow proc into awesomeness for your AD carry or whoever is actually chasing to somebody. Aqua Prison is probably the best ability of Nami. She shoots a little bubble that stuns down onto anything, literally, or anything that can actually be stunned down. So not dragon or baron, but usually the people of champions or the people of minions. So it'll give a little bubble area and then stun down onto that. The casting timing, the missile speed of the actual cast, it's a little slow for my likings, but it's pretty good. It's like when Cho'Gath before with his rupture had a really interesting kind of timing between zero point 0.5 to like 0.75 seconds. You would have to guesstimate like when the rupture would actually come out. It's kind of like that with Aqua Prison. It's not very consistent per se in that you're gonna have a consistent speed per se. I think it's like 0.75 I would say to hit to the ground. That's probably a really bad actual ratio, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's an interesting timing to actually land onto Aqua Prison. It's a little bit more like you have to guesstimate prediction maneuverability. But technically, if it was a very instant kind of timing with Aqua Prison, then everybody would die because the Aqua Prison's a pretty OP ability because it gives them a stun, lifts up your enemies, and does a bit of damage per se as well. I mean, especially with rank 5, 295 damage just alone. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Ebb and Flow is the W ability. The W ability technically is the heal slash the deal damage as well. Technically as well, if you have 5 members of your team and 5 members of the team like literally right next to each other, you could probably get it to bounce 10 times, which is really interesting to see if that could happen. Ebb and Flow is a interesting ability. I really like it. The cooldown on it though, right now in PvE status, 9 seconds on that cooldown. It's a bit low. It's a bit low for my liking. So maybe make it like 13 or 15 kind of cooldown. That'd be pretty legit, just because you can really abuse that heal that you use, and especially that would be probably as a support or even as a AP carry. That would probably be the #1 spell that I would want to actually maximize, because again, you don't change anything for Aqua Prison's stun time for 1.25 seconds. Like it's gonna stay there. So Ebb and Flow is probably the best of the second abilities, or best of the abilities to actually max out first. Tide Color's Blessing we were talking about a little bit before. It gives 3-hit chance for a slow proc, or it hits. Sorry, I should rephrase that. You'll get a slow proc for the next 3 basic attacks for whoever it's casted on, either himself or onto the champion that he or she is on. So it's really cool to see, and it gives a little bit of slow. And on top of that, you do a little bit of on hit damage or whatever for magic. That's like the bit that really isn't really significant. The only thing that's significant is the slow, but doing an extra bit of damage can change the game. And Tidal Wave with a 2.2k range, I didn't know that was that big. It's pretty huge. Gives a knock up as well, and gives a little bit of slow right after as well. And also does a pretty good bit of damage. So, in general, Nami's kit is utilizing control. Utilizing a lot of control into the lane phase. So you want to use that Aqua Prism to try to get onto the AD or AP, or the AD carry on top of the support, just to zone out per se, more over than actually try to go for the kills. Again, this isn't like Tark. You're not going in to just stun and then burst and then kill. That's kind of different from Nami, where yeah, you can go stun and actually do a lot of really good stun per se, but it isn't actually going for the kill. You want to just use it just to zone and actually get more ahead in lane per se. Ebb and Flow, more used for the heal aspect, but if you do use the dealing aspect, you kind of have to supplement that with a little bit of AP. So that's why Kagi's pick is probably going to be, I guess, the thing you really would want to rush into first off. Just because the mana costs, even though they're quite high, they're not too bad. And technically your mana pool is decent per se for about the first 4 levels, so you could rush into Kage's pick first, but more generally, oftentimes than not, you'll see Philosopher's Stone probably rushed off for a support Nami. And for a AP carry Nami, yeah, Kage's pick probably would be the first kind of go. And yeah, pretty much that's just breaking down what generally what you would look at as a Nami player. Tidal Wave is fantastic with Initiate. Yes, her Initiate with Tidal Wave is actually really strong, and like I just noticed that from sorry, I'm swallowing my saliva for a little sec. I just noticed that for Nami, the passive, I was like, oh, so that's what that little glowy blue thing is. When you actually cast something onto an ally champion, you get like a little blue glow, and that's kind of the move speed bonus. So there you go with that onto Nami. So again, I did play out with Nami, and Nami, Crystalline Flask, 1 Fairy Charm, and I think 1 Ward per se. I think if you're going down 0921, you want to get that Explorer Ward. On top of that, the Biscuit per se. I guess if you want to get the Biscuit, you can. But the Explorer Ward, most indefinitely, because you get that extra wardage, and on top of that, you can cheat your belt just a little bit by getting that Crystalline Flask really early. Again, Crystalline Flask is technically not a required item for anybody, but if you're not wasting more money on pots per se, say you're going to buy 2 pots in the beginning, 2 red pots, and then you're going to buy probably during the lane phase, probably about 6 more. It's a pretty decent money gainer per se. 8 pots right there is about 240, 250. No, actually about 300. And on top of that, with Crystalline Flask, you get that mana regen on top with that as well. It's a really, really cost-efficient item, even though it's a little less per se than what you get on red pots. Red pots you get 150 health regen. Overall, you only get 100 regen from the Crystalline Flask, but you don't actually pay for the Crystalline Flask afterwards. Oh my gosh. As a shoutcaster, that's gonna suck actually saying that word, but again, Crystalline Flask is a pretty, I guess, overwhelmingly good item. Overwhelmingly good item. So yeah, I mean Nami, we're even looking into it. I do pick up Q first, just because Q, again, like Targ, is a really good ability to start out with, especially with zoning, but especially with just picking up onto trying to catch up onto somebody. So, you know, you want to get that. You want to get that first. You don't want to get Ebb and Flow technically, because it's there, but you don't really want to be based upon that, because Ebb and Flow won't really help you out during team fights at the bottom lane, or little skirmishes at the bottom lane, unless you have the I guess you have, unless you have like a bit more AP than usual. Just because again, Ebb and Flow's AP for heal, I think it was a point 3. It wasn't that great of a heal, so try to utilize yourself onto getting that Q first per se as level 1, and then get an Ebb and Flow technically level 2 if you needed. Slash, I only think you would want to get it on level 2 because I don't think you want to get tied to water calling at level 2. What is her best ability? I think we've been talking about it. It's the Q ability. Sorry, I can't even remember right now. Aqua Prison, just because it does the stun on top of that. But technically, I think her best ability into team fights and into everything is just like Soraka's Wish, Ebb and Flow. Like literally, if you have a team fight where it is that close of quarter, you could get 5 bounces of heal and 5 bounces of deal, and that'd be crazy, but that'd be super fun to actually come into play and into fruition with. I think in this game I get like 3 bounces and I get a triple kill for some reason. But yeah, I mean, it's a really good ability that can be really utilized into, I guess, little close spaces. Especially if it was like Cannonball, it would work out the same way. Her worst ability is technically her Q ability, I would say, just because it's just unreliable per se onto stunning down on people. More oftentimes than not, you'll see me, especially with supports that have skill shots, try not to rely onto the skill shot kind of ability, like Blitzcrank per se. I don't really rely on the Blitzcrank grab. I rely more onto the knock up and that positioning. So just a little difference per se for myself. Technically, probably the worst ability that most people would say would be Tides while they're calling, because I mean it's just a little bit of poke, but that slow, the slow that you actually get from Tides while they're calling is actually pretty OP. It's like technically saying that Graves' worst ability is Smokescreen, which is actually his best ability because it has so much utility and does a lot of work onto really slower computers. It can only bounce 3 times and it has to be allied to enemy or vice versa. Only 3 times? I thought it could be to do more, but if it only 3 times then whatever, that's fine. How would you optimize Nami as a support? Nami, you want to build into either Kage's pick or to early Philosopher's Stone. I got Philosopher's Stone really early just because technically we had nothing that happened during the lane phase to actually buy up to that Kage's pick. Again, Kage's pick you would want to buy into, even into where Season 2 is right now, when you get like a kill or 2 assists onto your bottom lane. Just because, yeah, Kage's pick is a really nice item and it's a really good item to rush into really fast, but it's an item that's not necessarily great, and if you don't, I guess, don't have it now, you won't have it technically for later. Especially in Season 2 where your stats are pretty rough, so that's why you get the harder gold right now as your second gold for 10 item. And then where Season 3 you won't have hard gold. Yeah, Kage Flick will still be picked up no matter what, but being that first item, it just means that you just want to play really head and really damaging onto the other team. When you see Ebb and Flow yet again, I was healing off, I think myself, and it still hit up onto the enemy Nami. So it's a really QQ ability just because of the range of it. It's pretty wide per se, but it's a little glitchy as well because you know technically sometimes you want to cast it on yourself or you want to cast it onto another person. Sometimes you'll cast it onto enemy champion, but it still goes onto you know, your friendly champion just a little bit later. Again, bounces though deteriorate your heal or your deal, so you have to kind of think about that in the process as well. And again, support Nami, I want to say, is pretty much all generally all about, you know, utilizing her kit more overall. So getting that W as fast as you can to the first rank would be the greatest. Again, getting ultimate first would be also really cool too. But yeah, getting your W first, then your Q, then your R, then E would probably be the way to go for Nami as a support. And technically, maybe as an AP carry as well, but more oftentimes than not, you'll see the Q being carried out for the AP carry because, again, Q does the most damage for herself as a kind of ability. Item-wise, I would want to buy all the Kagisek right after this. We see the other Nami built into Foster Stone as well. Doesn't have that crystalline blast, but that is probably where you want to go with that. We do see catch up over here. Unfortunately, we do get caught out of position, and we do see Hack Server come in and get the double kill onto myself and to Ezreal. Even though we did see her, I think the thought process for me was I was going to use Nami's ability to try to catch the Amumu that's level 6, but probably not the smartest of ideas per se, as well as Hecarim kind of coming in pretty late from that gank, so thought process probably not stellar, but yeah, that's kind of how it goes over there. Do pick up 2 words and stuff like that. I'm gonna go skip a little bit over. Let's go to 12 minutes. See where I'm at with the item belts. Oh, we're still in lane phase. Okay. Let's go 13 to 14 minutes. Yeah, really interesting to see. Oh, it's because we were falling behind. I bought boots. But I still picked up the Kage's lucky pick or the amplified spam on top of that. Again, if you're falling behind, you want to beat up beats just because you're just gonna fall later and later behind as you go. So it's unfortunate, very unfortunate that you keep on getting into this little kind of ebb and flow kind of damage. So it's, you have to kind of get worried. You have to kind of be worried about that kind of awesomeness. You do see a push up yet again, and then the disengage per se as well. Very quickly, this game, yes, it's going 7-3 into the favor of the blue team. It's really because of the jungle pressure that Mumu's doing right now, and then on top of that, the jungle pressure that's, or no, the middle pressure that Diana's doing. And on top of that, Nami and Vayne not really having to care as much because Mumu's just doing a lot more than what the Hecarim's doing. Again, guys, if you're a jungler, try to keep your jungle under control. If you can't, you have to take some lane experience. Take some lane experience probably from middle or from top, and then just get some 2-man ganks going on. Unfortunately, with the Kog'Maw at middle, you can't really gank with Kog'Maw. Like, literally, he's not a roamer, he's just a straight up farmer. So that's always unfortunate. We do see the Fiora about to get ganked by all 3 members. Probably going to be taken down easily. No problem indeed. Astro Blaster picking up that kill right there. Do come back into lane with the Kage's lucky pick. Still picking up the wards over here. Hitting up that 16-minute mark all on turn. Nami did pick up the Sightstone, but doesn't have any wards for, or not wards, any other gold for 10 items. Again, that is kind of the difference between greed and not greed. And unfortunately for me, I got a little bit greedy, so I'm just going to keep on playing with these wards. Like, having Hack Server right now with that BS sword on top of just damage output overall, he's been doing really good damage to me, and I can't really do too much about it. So unfortunately, I'm just going to keep on using Ebb and Flow on myself to just try to heal myself. But I just have to really watch out for all the damage output that's coming to me, because I don't have the extra health of what Sightstone is. Again, Sightstone is kind of replacement for Heart of Gold, 700 gold for that Sightstone, but you only get 100 health into it, so the benefit of having Sightstone versus the benefit of not having Sightstone is 100 health. And ward refreshes that are free, technically, but 100 health. It seems like it's a stat that's not really worthwhile. If it was like 150, 175, it'd actually be a difference that you would want to build into. But technically, for this little instance, it's not a difference. You do see Ezreal getting caught up because I went and left lane, unfortunately. And it's looking really good for this blue team, especially 1-0-3 with that Nami, 1-0-3 with that Vayne. And we do see the Ezreal at 1-2-0 though. It's really good with that. You see the tidal waves hitting both ways. Unfortunately, both teams couldn't really utilize any of that tidal wave, so there you go with that. So lane phase 1-2 blue team over there. I'm gonna go skip it down just a little bit longer after I think this was the last, I guess, kill per se. I do stop him up with the Aqua Prison yet again. Blobfish is just taking a lot of bit of damage from nothing, literally. He shouldn't be taking all this damage technically. He should just be kind of just playing passive right now, especially with Vayne being so much farther ahead. I'm gonna switch it up to about, let's go 20 minutes. See over here, I just got killed, so that's cool. Something happened big. I don't know what happened, but something happened big. So there you go with that. I did pick up the Ruby Sightstone, plus on top of that I did pick up Ninja Tabi because I just wanted to decrease the damage that's coming out from ADs. I mean, Diana's on 80 and she's super fed right now, but Vayne overall, we do have that Matamune on the Shaka. That's going to be really strong as well. Probably not the smartest of the ideas to actually pick up that Ninja Tabi, but just getting boots too really would be very beneficial because I'm just getting kind of crap down when I do get caught by Vayne or if I do get caught by Amumu as well. So I did pick up the Ruby Sightstone. On top of that, picked up the Ninja Tabi just to get a little bit ahead. And on the counterpart, we do see the Kage's Lucky Pick finally picked up, so that's really cool to see. We do see the damage output with the Sightstone as well, or the damage output with the Kage's Lucky Pick, but the just Sightstone as well. So she's technically ahead, I think, in gold, I would say. No, she's really behind in gold actually, just because I had gold for 10 a lot earlier than she did. That's really interesting to see. 77, 173 plus the Philosopher's Stone, which is 500. So yeah, it's really interesting to see, but it worked out for the team a lot more per se. Especially since I've been getting a few assists as well, trying to match up to Naomi's assists. So again, through the greediness or getting that extra earliness, change that little difference from a regular Sightstone to a Ruby Sightstone, which is 300 health. So very, very important to have that extra little awesomeness on top of that. We do see Spirit of Ancient Golem for that movement really quickly. I just want to talk about that. It's a tenacity kind of item as well. Changed in League of Legends Season 3. Alyssa's Miracle, again, underrated item. Not a lot of people have actually bought it. Now it doesn't give out tenacity, which is really, really tough. And technically, I would build it on Cho'Gath. I would build it on some of the people that were at top lane, more importantly. But unfortunately, Alyssa's Miracle is kind of a, I would say, a kind of useless item because it doesn't really do too much to yourself. I mean, technically you can get to it, which I think I buy into anyway, so I'll show you the stats. Technically you can get into it where you can get 3 levels of Alyssa's Miracle and then you get this special item that's just on you forever. But yeah, I don't think it's probably the best idea. Blackfish are going to be taken down. I think I'm going to be taken down as well. Yep. Kind of went dense over here. I especially should have sold them with the wards, but meh. Don't know. Okay, so literally, this is probably looking pretty bad for us. I do remember this game technically because they played it yesterday, but also because, yeah, I was kind of QQing a bit about it because it was pretty hard for our lane phase because again, Hecarim didn't really control this jungle, and jungle is super important in the early game, especially with mid players as well. They're really important to actually control the lane. Diana right now is 731, and jungle is 128, but Vayne is now 403. So overall, the control has been set by jungler because he has 8 assists for Mumu compared to what Hecarim has is 3. But I mean, technically, this should be a snowball game in favor of blue team. Unfortunately, I won't actually watch the whole episode because we're pretty much going to be done with the episode pretty soon. We still went out just because of utility and really, really lucky stuff that happened with Fiora and myself. And again, AP Kog'Maw just getting to late game is a lot better than Vayne getting in the late game. Even though Vayne is a lot better as a late game champion per se, just because she does tons of damage in that little burst time, kind of, if anything, gets off those 3 procs with Silver Bolts on top of that, just tumbling down onto yourself. But yeah, there's just a lot of things that happen with Kog'Maw, with the Arcane Barrage that, or sorry, with the Living Artillery that does so much more than what literally Vayne could do. On top of that, Lee Bloodzod is actually playing AP Kog'Maw, so AP Kog'Maw does so much more as well. Try to go blind Q onto Hexaver does just miss away. Feed mid is in a really precarious position to get us pretty much pentakilled. again, if you ever played jungle Mumu, you don't want to go right into literally the team into the jungle. So if you're jungle Mumu and you're in the jungle and you have pretty much your team with you, this is probably the perfect time to actually fight for them because they have a really close off space, and it's a really easy time for feed mid to get like probably a pentakill easily. I think this is a fight where we do some major damage or we get majorly damaged as well. We do ping off onto the side to try to go onto the team. Do have a disconnect for a little bit, but he reconnects right back into it. And yeah, we're gonna go fight into this, and this is a really bad spot to fight. Like a super bad spot to fight right now. But it's gonna happen. Tidal wave is gonna go right into it, and we're gonna respawn with the tidal wave back into it. You do see Hecarim's onside shadows, but onside shadows is not enough. You see the damage coming out from Fiora. Fiora is gonna do so much, but it's unfortunately not gonna do anything else with it. And Feed Mid is the last person actually alive onto this, and it's gonna be taken down yet again. The biggest thing, I guess, in general, it's kind of a low elo kind of game with that. I'm gonna go pause it real quick when we actually start to engage. Say blue buff gets taken, we do get the disconnect right quick, right? Big thing is Feedman just use this bandage hodge actually to cool down on himself. So unfortunately when this fight engages, and especially when I'm right there. Look at the positioning of the team. You have the two bruisers, on top of that you have, I think Kog'Maw's right here in the middle, which Kog'Maw shouldn't be, but that's fine. Feed mid does have his Curse of Sap money up, so he's going to be able to catch down onto 4 members of the team. On top of that, we have Nami right over here to probably go ahead and kill with that tidal wave on top of that. So really good stuff. Unfortunately for me, and fortunately for them, I'm not in that pack right there. So we do see the Curse of Sap money only hitting onto 3 members of the team. Great job by Blobfish to get out of there. Tidal wave actually hitting all the members of our team though. But there we go with that. Really quickly, we have a re-engage with my tidal wave onto the whole team. Literally in this pack, Haxor could have just dodged out of the way and it would have been easily defended, but unfortunately for not. Kind of what happens right there. Onslaught of Shadows hits onto pretty much the back line, so Nami gets hurt only, and a little bit of damage onto Blood, so Diana gets hurt as well. And we just see Fiora kind of do a lot of bit of damage. Frontline does so much damage, and then we just clean up in the end. Not only to the point 4v5 is actually a really bad idea to really engage punt, but there you go with that. And that's how you win solo queue games. And that's how you throw solo queue games in the same little instance. And yeah, there you go. Concentration, work ethic, and skills don't really matter if you can throw all the day, and I mean, that's just a solo queue lesson right there. But overall, a really good lesson about Nami, the Tide Caller. Her ult changes games. That's pretty much what I wanted to say. Thank you again, guys, for watching episode 29 of Learning League. More buttons, more items equals more buttons. Sorry about that. It's been a long day, and we're gonna get into a little bit of a after show right after this. So don't you fret, don't you worry. But for all the people on YouTube that are watching right now, thank you again for watching. It's been an awesome one. Thanks to all the people from D-eSports that host this show that do awesome stuff with esports as well. Check them out at D-eSports.com. Definite Esports, very good crew. Also check out the sponsors on the bottom left side: Magcat, Triton, BenQ, Antec, and XMG. Overall, thanks to everybody at the Learning League, and thanks from everyone to you and me. Hope you guys had an awesome Thanksgiving dinner, had an awesome Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever else, and hopefully you will join us for some awesome stuff that is coming up until later go, and also for season 3 as well. Thanks again, eyes, and I will be out.